You guys know who I am. So what I'm going to do today, instead of giving you just a listen clinic, I'm going to give you an actual lesson. The lesson that I give in the class for class 3. Push putting versus spin putting is what it's called, okay? So we're going to go over why, and then I'll show you how. All right? So in the beginning, there'll be more talking. Towards the end, there'll be more throwing. So there's 2 styles of putts. Can everybody hear me over here?
Yep.
Hear me over here? Okay. There's 2 styles of putts that have been used in the professional ranks of disc golf, majority of them. And they are the spin putt and the push putt. Some players call the push putt the pitch putt, the lob putt, many different names. I call it the push putt, and I'll explain that later. Spin and push. Now, most of you are probably spin putters. That means at some point in your technique, you bend your elbow, or your wrist, or you fling your fingers in a left to right motion when you let go of it. That's the 3 ways that you become a spin putter. That's the natural way when people learn to do it. When you get to the course the first time, you pick up your disc that you bought and you go just like that, all right? Now, that becomes effective. And actually, I became the 30th ranked player in the world doing that style, just like I showed you. I traveled around, I practiced every day. And when I say I practice 100, 200 putts every day. That style. Line drive, line up, spin, right in the heart, okay? Now, when you think about that though, there was a lot of moving parts. My elbow was moving, my wrist moved, and my fingers moved left to right. And so, it's kind of like anybody here shoot guns, or archery, or any kind of darts or something like that? Well, what you have is a crosshair, right? Up, left and right, up and down. Now, when you're a spin putter, by moving your elbow, your wrist, or your fingers, you're creating a crosshair that you have to hit up and down, forward out, and a left and right. And so some days, you're making everything. You come out, and you're hitting that crosshair, even though it's only that big, you're hitting it every time as you practice. You make 9 out of 10, and you're excited. Other days, you come out the next day even, and you only make 4 out of 10. Even though you're doing the same thing, same disc, same course, same baskets. And that's because you can't find that crosshair that day. And so the other style was developed because the top players found that they couldn't make it consistently from where he's standing. And you would need to make 9 out of 10 minimum from where he's standing to be a competitive player. So they developed a shot that made that target become this big. So instead of being a little crosshair that's about that big, maybe yours is this big because you practice all the time. It's this big. You got all this area right here. And they developed a style where the elbow doesn't move, the rest doesn't move, and all you do is move your fingertips forward, not left and right. And so you eliminate 2 hinges and create more consistency, and that's what they call the push putt. So what I'm going to do is show you how to push putt, and then we'll go back to the spin putt, okay? So I want everybody to first pick up the disc, put your other one down, you only need one. Maybe use it as a mark, put it in front of you. Now, some of you probably have the disc with the bead on it, some of you don't. And if you've seen the video, I know a lot of you bought it. The bead, like I said last night, was designed to fit this digit in your finger. If you look, you have a line right there, and that's what the bead's for. And then after that, it's your preference. Everybody has their own thing. Some people say they put their fingers against the rim tight. Some put their fingers out. Some tuck one on top of the other. Some stick just one out. It's your choice. Only things that matter to me is that you're using some kind of pressure to bring it into the palm, and that there's a pinch feeling on that groove and the thumb, and so that when the disc is released, it's only touching that very fine point. So there's no wobble or drag.
The joint hooking around.
Yeah, the joint. Does everybody know what I'm talking about when I say this, the digit line?
Right.
You see the line right there? You put it right on there flat and it's flush. It creates a no resistance release. Okay? Let's get that out of the way. And like I said, I didn't get too carried away changing anything. It's preference. Preference where those fingers sit. All right? Now, we have the grip. Everybody's got it? Let's talk about how it feels in the hand before we move on to throwing. In your hand, how it should feel, this is a lot of trouble for a lot of people, is where the pressure is. And a lot of people have trouble at first because they put all the pressure in the front of the grip. Okay? So when you're holding it, you shouldn't be squeezing so hard with your thumb and your index finger, as those are more to just keep the disc in line. Okay? Those are the two that aim. Those aren't where the power comes from. Those are the two that aim. Because when you're done, your thumb and your finger are going to be pointing right at it. Those are your aiming points, okay? So the back of the grip is where the firmness is, because you're gonna push with the back of your hand, push putt, and that's how you're gonna get the momentum. So when you feel it, I call it the loose firm grip. Loose in the front, firm in the back, okay? Anybody have any questions about that?
What's pushing it into your palm?
My pinky.
Your pinky. Okay.
I said you don't have to do that. That's how I do it. Climo likes to put the pinky with the index finger on top of the pinky to help him do it. I choose, mine's comfortable like this. And like I said, Ron Russell's was like this with the middle finger out. Yeah. And so it's just your choice. Yeah, but he was the best. Best spin putter ever played the game. Probably. So now we got it in our hand, we have it, right? Now let's talk about angle. When you're holding the disc out in front of you, like you've seen in the video, let's do it. I don't know if you guys did it after you watched the video. The disc needs to be on this plane right here that's perfectly level with your arm. If you're holding the disc like this somehow, or you're holding it like this, or you're holding it like this, or you're holding it with the nose down in any way, that's how it's gonna fly. So you wanna make sure you hold it out in front of you, it's perfectly flat, except for in putting, the difference between putting and driving is that you want it slightly nose up so that you can read the stamp when it's flying. So when you putt it, you wanna be able to read it. If you can't read the stamp, then you're not giving your disc the chance, or you're gonna have to put too much on it, that if you miss, you're gonna be past the bucket, okay? And the goal of this putt I'm teaching you is to never have to three putt ever. I've three putted maybe once in 3 years. And it's not because I'm a great putter, it's because when I miss, they land right here, okay? And so, in this putting style, you're gonna become much more consistent without having to be able to make it from further away without putting as much effort into it, if you can read the stamp, because that causes the disc to float. Question?
What's the effective distance of this type of putt?
Okay, that's a good question. So this putt is for inside the circle. I use it inside 40 because I've become good enough that my muscles strong enough that I could do it inside 40. But when you're learning, you're gonna lose your comfortability at about 20, okay? And then you'll get to 25, 30, and by the time you're making 30s in the first month or so, you're gonna be probably falling forward inside the circle because you'll be able to get it there, but you won't be able to hold yourself, okay? So I use the spin putt for outside that distance. And this year I'm developing the push putt for like 50 feet and in for certain situations. A jump push putt like Ken Climo has. And I'll show you guys that when we get there. All right, the last thing I want to say is what kind of disc to use. I know a lot of people don't tell you this in the clinic. I don't care, I want you to use Innova. But I don't care if you use Innova, Gateway, Discraft, Lightning, Whammo. What's important to me is if you're gonna putt in with this style, is you get a stiff putter, okay? The putters that are softer, those are for approaching, those are for long putts, those are for touch and feel. Inside the circle, you want something that's stiff, and here's the reason. When you go to putt, you're gonna push your thumb down like we talked about, right? If your thumb goes in and the disc fluctuates depending on the temperature or how hard you're gripping that day, your consistency will be different on the release. If your putter is stiff like a rock, then as you go to release and push down, it's always the same. And it's always the same release when it comes out of your hand, all right? So that's just a little tip. You'll find it much easier with stiff putters, okay? I can do it with a soft putter, but two things happen. I don't have as much distance control with it, and it wobbles. You want to lose the wobble, lose the floppy putter, all right? All right, let's move on to stance. Let's develop a stance. Stance, again, is not opinion. When I get to this, I'm going to show you that it's not my opinion, this stance. It's what scientifically makes sense. Okay, like if you think about it and you think about it, how the muscles work and the most effective line that your body can be in, you'll see it here. It has nothing to do with opinion. Everybody's going to be slightly different though. So here's what we're going to do. We're shoulder length apart, right? Stand about 2 feet back from your mark. You're going to, if you're right-handed, you're going to bend your knees, jump up in the air, and swing your body to the left, landing, trying to face that direction with your knees bent. If you're left-handed, you're going the other way. All right, and I'll demonstrate what it should look like. This is what you want. You want to bend your knees, jump, pop. All right, that's what I want to see. Everybody get in position. All right, that position you just landed in, wherever you landed, how you are, that's your most athletic position. Okay? That's where your knees bend. That's where you're using your muscles to push up and down. So now that you're in that position, let me get there with you. right? The only thing you have to do is now twist your toe to the front. Not all the way so it's flat, but just slightly off center. There you go. And that should be the most comfortable stance your body can get in.
So not exactly pointing at.
No, and I'm going to explain that right now. Here's the line you're looking for. Now that you got your stance, you want to look at the pole. You want your toe to be slightly off to the side of the pole. You want the pole to run in a direct straight line, the one that runs through your mini. You want it to run through the ball of your right foot. If you're left-handed, obviously reverse everything I'm saying. Through the ball of your right foot and out the back of your left heel. They should all touch the same line. So if I draw a line right here in the grass, right heel, right ball, left heel. Should be on that same line. Directly lined up. Okay?
Cat stance.
Cat stance, you can call it. Sure. Everybody got that stance? All right, I know you guys are just aching to let that thing out of your hand, aren't you? So, now we're in the stance. I want to talk about shifting weight. All right? So we're there. Got that stance. Now, the motion to doing this is it's quite easy, but most people seem to don't pick it up as easy because they've already got habits. So it's going to take you some time. You got habits. You got bad habits. All right? So let's get to the front to the back, and I'll show you where the front is. So your foot's on the mark, you're lined up. Pick up your disc, hold your arm long. So like it's tick, tock, tick, tock. It can't be, there's no bend. There's no bend in, there's no bend out. All right? And lean forward, get all your weight, pick your left leg off the ground, put your toe on the ground, lift it up in the air. Okay? Hold your arm out as far as you can straight. This is the front of the motion. This is where I want you to get to before you let go of the disc, okay? Now, come back, shift the weight back, let the foot come down, let the knee bend. When the knee comes all the way to flat, and it's called hyperextended, you see the hip goes out, right here. You'll feel it if you're doing it right. This is the back. So all the motion is from here to here, okay? None of this other stuff with the arm, none of this stuff with the leg. All it is from back, the toe up, arm long, to forward, arm forward, leg up. And the right arm and the left leg go the exact same time. The closer you can do it, the better you'll be. So as I'm here,
Right arm and the left leg.
ready, I'm going to show you. The right arm and the left leg at the exact moment.
Okay, got it.
Exact. The closer you can get to that, the better you'll be. The more consistent you become. Your timing becomes good. We covered everything from the elbow to the fingertips. We know how to do that, right? Now we're covered everything from the toe to the waist. And the thing now, the hard part is we're going to teach you how to do it. All right? Now we got the body working. Now, as you hold the disc, I want everybody to step in. Okay? When you learn this, you're not going to learn it from back there. You have to learn it from right here. And how you do it, I know it seems like, oh, I can, it's nothing, but you're going to hold your arm out long, like I said, and as the disc comes up and you're pushing forward, you can see that the rim's about the height of the disc there. As soon as it gets to the height of that disc, all you're going to do is let it out and kick your leg forward. You just let the disc out. There's no twisting it. You just let it out. It should wobble. The object is to make it not spin. Just let it out. All right? I'll teach you how to get momentum on it. Just as you do it. Imagine like in the video, like you have a phone book in your hand. But my best analogy, I know it seems kind of cheesy, that I've come up with, is imagine that you're at your, any females here? No, okay. So you're at your other half's, and she's taking you to dinner for the first time with her parents. All right, you're at the house, and they made up this nice salad, and it's got dressing and croutons and everything on it, sitting on the table. And she asked you to put it on the counter. And you're lazy and you don't want to get up and go around the table. And you want to show the family that you got some Frisbee skills, right? So you're going to try to get that bowl of salad to land right on the counter without any of the lettuce or croutons flying out. You spin your wrist or do anything with your elbow, the croutons are going all over, dressing all over the kitchen. Okay? So you want to keep that arm straight. All right, now let's back up a little bit. Back to where you were. Nice, comfortable. You don't have to go all the way back. Let's talk about how you're going to generate the momentum to get it in there, okay? So now we got the arm straight, we've worked on the legs. Now we have to talk about how it is I get it there by just going like this, right? How am I getting it there? So the trick is I'm using timing, okay? Just like in the drive, it's called the hit. The moment before you release this putter is when you use all your energy. So if you look at it, I'm going to be very slow, and as I come up, I'm really slow, 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 and then bam, at the last second I hit it. You get that little moment. Without that, you'll never get it there. And when I struggled learning, Dave Dunapace would come up to me at World Championships and US Opens and say, your hit's a little slow, Dave. And I knew just what he meant, that I was trying to be all methodical, and there it happens. You don't get it there. You have to have this moment where you accelerate, but you have to wait as long as you possibly can to accelerate. If you start accelerating too early, then your timing will be off. So how I've decided, there's a hitch. For me, maybe it'll work for you. I hold the disc forward, right? Let's hold it forward. And when I come, I'll get low like this. I dip down a little bit to get my knees bent. And then when I come back, and this knee right here, see this knee? This knee will shift back into a hyperextended mode, like I said, the back of the swing. As soon as I feel that take place, my left leg says push, and it pushes fast. All right, my arm doesn't move that fast, but my foot does, and I'm down low, and I just push and hold my arm perfectly flat, like I showed you, and I use my legs to push it out. Give it a try. Really push that left leg up in the air. Don't worry, this is something you don't learn. You're not. I don't expect. You've never done it before. It'll take more than today to learn it. You'll have to practice. Some other things that I saw going around the circle. I saw some of the classic mistakes. You can't forget to what? Make sure the angle's nose up. If the angle's nose down, he has no chance. Okay. Other things I saw was a wobbling, which was because you were still gripping in the front. Think about gripping in the back, and that you're pushing it, okay? You're pushing it into the basket. You're not trying to, it'll go there. You have to trust it. I know you don't think it'll get there, but it will get there.
No cocking of the
Nothing,
wrist then?
nothing.
Okay.
I swear to you. Just hold it. But I'm going to give you the secret. You ready?
Yeah.
There you go. You hold the thumb right at the target, but then you tilt the wrist just like the foot. You want everything in the same line, right? Arms and legs always work together, right? So you want it to be the same. If you had your foot turned like this and your arm straight, then you'd be counterproductive, right? So you want it to be slightly off, and then when your hand comes up, it opens to flat. Never let it go past open, but it opens to flat, and that's your checkpoint, and it's like you're shaking hands. Right? Now, give you a couple analogies that people use. Some people say paint the pole, right? You've heard that? That expression is what I'm teaching you. That means arm is straight like a paintbrush. As it comes down, you come over the rim, right? And the paint is on the brush, and you release. So right when you release it, that's when the paint starts, and then you paint up the pole with the paintbrush. So if your arm's bent, you can't paint. You're not gonna, do a squiggly line. So that's that expression, paint the pole. Now, before we get on to more technique, I'm gonna also give you guys something that I use a lot, and it'll help you at first when it comes to this. Because before you've compensated by twisting your wrist and doing all these things to find your line. And now that you're lining up straight, some of you are missing left and right, I believe. Even though that's something you don't usually do. And that's because of what they call the left eye, right eye dominant theory. Okay? So I want everybody to pick a spot on a tree, pick a spot on a car over there, I don't care what it is. And then you'll look at it, you'll close your one eye, and you'll close the other one. And that spot will move. Promise you. Right? And so in all sports, bowling, darts, all those accuracy sports, they measure the difference in their dominant eyes. And so if a great bowler who bowls over the third mark probably aims at the second mark. Because he thinks, second mark, but he actually throws it over the third mark. That's how the eyes play tricks on the brain. So in disc golf, most everybody is right eye dominant. Okay? Some people are left eye, it's very rare. And so what you have to realize is what you think is center is actually the right side of the bucket. This is a trick that, only a few top pros I know even are using. But what you think is center is actually here because your eye's leading and your body's sideways. Okay? So to hit the center, you actually have to aim to the left side of the target. We lined up the left side of the target, and it pulls it right into the center. It never turns into the center. It looks like you threw it in the center the whole way, but it's what your eyes are doing to you. It's a trick.
So it's, if you're looking at something and it doesn't move when you open your right eye, but it does when your left eye.
Your right eye don't.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, try it once. Try looking at it, aiming at the left side of the chains, and the things I showed you, really bring your arm up forward, and you'll see that it won't be on the left of the basket, it'll be right in the center. How I came up with it, so you don't think I'm a crazy man, besides seeing other sports, because I taught in Japan to like 10,000 or 15,000 kids over a weekend in this dome. And basically, I had a station like with a basket like this, and all these 8 to 10-year-old kids all weekend would stand in line with their parents, and they get 3 putts, right? And then if they make it, I get, for all 3, I give them this prize, 2, this prize, 1, this prize, 0, still give them a prize, right? And so every kid that came up first time, I put it in their hand, I told them how to do it, and they missed it to the right of the bucket almost every time. And so then I'd stand there, because they're little kids, 8-year-olds, and go, all right, try it again, right here, buddy. And he'd throw it right in the heart every time, couldn't help it. And they'd get excited, and it's more exemplified with a child, because they haven't adjusted their eyes as much as we have. So that's why it was such a big gap. But for me, it's, you know, definitely inches, and as I go out, it becomes feet. All right, any questions about that? All right, now let's talk about finger spring. So let's get back in our stance. Let's practice shifting the weight a little bit while I talk about it. Practice going up with your leg, coming back up onto your heel, back up onto your leg, back up onto your heel. Keep practicing, I'll talk. Now, finger spring is the expression of how we spring our fingertips forward. We don't twist our fingers to the right like you used to. You spring them forward as fast as you can like this and open your hand. And so it's in the hand, I'm holding it, and then I spring. And see, that's where the push, remember the push I talked about it? Push. And you use your shoulder to create the momentum. It's the shoulder that pushes forward. But the ones of you that stick with it, well, in 6 months we'll be beating the other guy. I promise you it happens everywhere I go. There's like always about half the guys leave here, they don't stick with it, and then their buddies start beating them and they start emailing me. How'd you do that again?
Does it take longer to unlearn things or to learn things?
You know, I teach, right, at the university. I get kids that come in there, they've been playing for 2-3 years. 10 weeks into the term, I barely teach them one swing.
Yeah.
I finally get through to them. I got kids that never played that come to class. 3 weeks into the term, they're throwing 350 with a shark. So, it is much harder to unlearn habits. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? Now, let's talk about how to get the muscle it takes to not be a cheater. And I don't want to, I said that because I wanted the reaction out of you. Cheater, 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 okay? Now that seems to be what we like to call people who fall forward, okay? But that's not cheating. It's like in basketball when you go to block a shot but you foul the guy. You're playing the game, you're trying to do your best, you fell past the mark. You call your friend on it, you say foot fault, he redoes it. Next time he gets his penalty stroke. It's not cheating, it's playing the game, okay? But I wanted to address that because I see that around the country. I think it's a misconception about how we call those rules. Your buddy makes a foot fault or he jump putts illegally by accident. He's not a cheater. He needs to be called on it, and if he does it again, he pays his price. He gets his fouls, he gets foul of the game. See what I'm saying? So remember that. So while you're learning this, you're gonna be one of those people who falls forward a lot. I'm gonna show you the proper way to be balanced, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the putter right on the ground in front of us. Now, it takes muscles to do this putt, all right? This is not a non-athletic move, even though it looks like it is. It's real slow and methodical, but it takes a lot of muscle. So what you're gonna do is you're going to grab your other putter, right? This is a practice drill you can do at home. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go back and forth, feel your rocking motion, feel it, feel it, feel it. And when you go to putt this, you're gonna come up onto your one leg and hold, okay? And stop like this. So do it. Get there, everybody get to this position. Hold, don't let that left foot touch the ground. Don't let that left foot touch the ground. All right, now you're gonna bend your right knee and come to the ground and pick up this white putter without your left foot touching the ground. Yeah. Wow. Then you're gonna come back up by flexing your knee up because that's the muscle you use for putting. That's the push muscle, okay? And then you're going to then keep your arms straight use your back leg now to kick out, to get it used to your balance, and kick out and let it in. You probably won't make it, but it's a great exercise. Now you do that 25 times a day, you'll have no problem holding your balance. So most of you should have felt that probably right here, right? Like you said, in your ass, in your arse, right there. So that's the muscle. If you watch me putt, a great putt is complete commitment. And when I first started, I saw pictures of Ken Climo. You know, you got to go back to Ken Climo. He is the best, right? And his left foot would be above his ear. He'd be so completely committed, follow through. But he'd be holding it on his leg, and that's why he can still to this day go like this and go down to the ground and come back up. That's how strong his back muscle is from doing it for 25 years. All right? And so if you watch me when I commit to the putt, watch how much energy comes up, how I hold it, and don't fall forward. And this is going to take practice. And you want to be able to go all the way forward without falling. If you can hold that balance, that's how you become a good putter. Because at first you're going to be like, oh, and you're going to go, oh, but I want you to do this. If you do this, you're not going to be good. See, because the midsection goes backwards, away from the target. I want you to go forward, and if you fall, you'll fall. You're not in a PGA Sector tournament, you're out playing for fun with your buddies. You can learn it, and then when you learn to hold, then you learn to hold, okay? Take some time. Everybody try it. Really pop up. I want that left leg to fall forward. Yep. Yeah, starting to tire you out, isn't it? Any more? Don't get them. All right. Now, we taught you how to use that muscle. You can feel it, right? You're getting balanced. You're holding it right here. Now, the thing to think about here is a couple things. You don't want your chin like this. You gotta have your body up, back arched, okay? Other things to think about here is that you're never gonna do it with a straight leg. All right, the leg should be, the front knee should be bent out over the toe. Because there's no way you're gonna be good like this, okay? You have to have that front knee bent. All right, any questions about the leg balance before we move on? Good, makes sense? All right, now, let's talk about some ways you can practice this. And I think it is straddle, like he said. So for straddling, again, it's everybody's opinion. All right. Now, one thing I want to say before I get to straddle is, it's a 10-week course. So there's a lot more to do with the push putt. Email me on my website, contact me. Maybe if you win the lesson today, we'll go over it. There's a lot more to it. That was about 5 of the 15 steps. All right. So there's a lot more to it, but we don't have the time today. The DVD has about 10 steps on it. I've added 5 since I made the DVD, and that's why DVD 2 is coming out in the summer. All right. So we're in our straddle putt. Choose how you want, whatever you want. You want to be a little like this. You want to be slightly offset. I don't care. Just get in a position where your legs are over shoulder length apart. All right. Now this should make you a better push putter, right? Because straddle putting before was kind of difficult because you're going, woo, right? So you're trying to spin your arm to the right or left, but hold your body straight. Pretty challenging. I can do it, you can do it, but it's not consistent. So now we're back to that arm being longer, right? And it should be easier. Look, now you can go tick-tock between your legs. Tick-tock, tick-tock. And all you do is when the disc comes over the rim, instead of the previous thing I told you about where you were going like this, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to push our pelvis forward. Yeah. Almost like you're, you know what it's like. You just push it forward. Now, some of the keys to this are, everybody good? Hold on, before you collect them. Some of the keys to this are, as you're down, your knees are bent, right? You come up, pushing your pelvis forward, making your legs straight. What happens next is the key. And Barry Schultz, I'll have to give him credit for this, is that you come up onto your toes. If you stay on your heels, you're no good. You're not getting the momentum. You want to thrust it, and the only way that you can use that thrust properly and have the energy go forward is if your heels come off the ground and you push the energy forward, like that. See that? So you're down, like that. All right, and that's how you get the power on it. Anybody got putters left? Try it, and then we'll pick them up. There you go.
Keep the white man to dance.
one thing I'll tell you, last thing I'll say about the push putt is, there's the push, there's the straddle, but the great thing about the push putt is, and this is why I recommend it, is that if you go to one knee to the right, it's the same. Your arm's always the same. You don't have to change your arm. It's always the same length. It never changes. You know, if you got a stiff putter, it never changes. So all you got to do is put your body in the right position and do it. Okay? So you go to one knee, it's okay. If somehow you're in a position on a course like Santa Cruz where you can't get a full straddle, or you can't go like this, but you have to kind of go like this, arm's still no longer. Still the same. All right? So these are the things to think about. What I saw around the group was a lot of nose down before we move on. And I want you to really consider this.
That's a hard thing to overcome.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to overcome, but think about it like this. Extreme it. If you're the other way, extreme it. And what's happening is, if you've been putting really nose down, it's what it is I think you're extreming it too much. What happens is if you're holding it too far nose up, you can't go like this. So then your brain takes over. When you come back, you lift on the back end of the disc instead of pushing, and you go like that.
That happens to me.
Right, all right. We don't want to lift on the back end. We want to push. We're lifting on the front end of the grip, right? We're forward, and we're lifting with the front end, using that part. And as soon as we've lifted, then we're going to push forward with our arm, our shoulder, our body, and go forward into the target, not above it.
Wait, are we actually locked in that elbow?
Yeah, look, lock, forward. See how, if you watch me from here, and my arm's here, watch how forward my body goes in a straight line. See that? It's that motion. All right? That's really key, is to go forward, read the stance. It takes practice. How many of you have seen the video? Raise your hand if you've seen the video. All right, about half of you. All right? How many of you tried the spin putt, push putt drill? Tell me, be honest, I didn't know. You did? Tried it, all right. One or two people. You couldn't do it?
It seemed a little goofy.
Now, when you see it work in real action, you're going to understand. Cameron always plays tricks on you. What we're trying to do is develop your natural spin putt. Like I said, disc golf is a fun game because you can do your own thing. If I came out here and said, do it like me, it wouldn't be any fun. All right? And that's what I found in the past. That's when the clinics came to my town. They're like, this is how you do it. No, there's not one way to do anything. That's the great point of the game. That's why we have the best game in the world. All right? So, some people like to spin putt like this. Some like this. Some like this. Some like this. It doesn't matter to me. It's all the same concept. And there's no technique to it other than spinning this forward. And there's no consistency available because you move too much. So it's just something you do. And if you are good at it, you're good at it. If not, you're not. So the way it's easy to find it was, like I showed in the video, was by taking two putters out. Everybody's got two, right? You're going to take the first putter, and you're not going to be able to do what I did. You're not going to beat it there, but you just have to think that, okay? And we're going to lob the first one, and then without even thinking about it while it's in the air, before it hits the chains, you got to just throw the disc in the bucket. I don't care how you get it there. I don't care if you throw it two hands.
What?
You got to get it there. All right, so it looks like this.
These people are going to hit us. I can show you.
What do you mean?
So it's like this.
You gotta switch hands real quick.
See how I couldn't think, I just slammed it in there. And that's what I want to see you do. Try it. Just slam it in there. Don't let your brain get in the way.
Oh, wait.
I think we got to do that one more time. That was your first try. Let's do that one more time. All right, let me do it again, and then we'll see if you guys can do it. So let's... Up. Oh, spit. But you see what I'm saying? Just like that. And the object is to not let your brain get in the way. Just let it happen. Now, the great thing about what I taught you today, things just work out. You know, when I wrote it all, I didn't write it like this. It just works out. Everything I taught you is the same. It works the same for that putt. The only difference is your arm's not straight. So you should be in your most athletic position. You should be lined up straight. You're going to spin it, so you should aim to the left like I told you, because you're going to spin it across the chains. All right? So everything is the exact same. The only difference is you have to figure out when to let go and how to get your mind out of the way. All right? And what I found is, like I said, there's no right or wrong way here. But what I found in my experiences is that standing over a spin putt is bad news. Okay? Just standing there and standing there and standing there and standing there. Because what happens is your wrist gets all loose or stiff, depending on what kind of person you are, and it's not the same when you miss. And that's why I switched, is because in big tournaments, I'd be here and I'd have a chance to finally beat Ken Climo, and I'd be like, oh, here it is, here it is. Oh my God, no, I lost again. And that actually happened, trust me. It happened to me many times. And so, I did that on purpose, yes. But, so what I'm saying is, you want to stand over the spin putt, commit to it before you get to the line, okay? So you've chosen to spin it, there's a limb there or something, right? You want to go low ceiling, you can't lob it. Commit to it from back here, like Ron Russell used to, and the great spin putters, Mike Moser. They stand back here and commit to it. Decide what they're going to do. Do all their stuff back here. You know, you'd see Russell over here going. And then when it's your turn and you're ready, address the lie and go, okay? Don't let the stuff get in your brain, because the brain plays tricks on you, and since there's no consistency and it's not the same motion, you have to feel it. It has to be something you'd feel good about. The longer you stand there, you're not feeling good. All right, so the best way I found to do it would be I walk up to the lie, I'm good. I mark it, I'm looking, I look down to make sure my feet are good. I look at the target once, I look down again, and spin it. Don't let the brain get in the way. With spin, you really want that little minimal release. You don't want your finger out here, because you want no drag. You want to spin it nice and sharp.
Are you still doing nose up on that spin?
Yes. Everything's always nose up, because you want the disc to float and have control.
Yeah.
If it's not nose up, you're going to end up out there where that red one is.
Are you holding the position of the disc in your hand
Any
like
different?
that,
No.
or
Slightly off center, bring it down.
so your wrist is aligned with your arm
Yep,
pretty much?
yep, slightly off like that, and then I break my wrist with a spin putt and not break my wrist.
Okay.
All right, now, real quick, guys, I know you guys want to get playing, but let's talk about outside the circle putts. Let's talk about legality of outside the circle putts. Let's talk about how to mark outside the circle putts. Because I think my responsibility as being on the PDJ board is also to come here and make sure that you guys understand the rules, the way the game's being played. There's been some new things happening in our sport. All right, first let's talk about the inside the circle rule, then we'll move to outside the circle. Now, it's always been the rule, but now it's being enforced correctly. And so be prepared for this if you're going to play in tournaments this year. All right, this is your lie. Okay, that's your putt. This year at PDJ sanctioned tournaments, it's going to be strictly enforced is that after you putt here, no matter how long it's come to rest, that's a myth, okay? No matter how balanced you are and you show it, even if you're like this and you're perfectly balanced, if this next foot does not touch the ground behind the lie, you are going to be called this year.
So demonstrating balance has been taken to a...
Demonstrating balance includes another foot.
Thank you. Because what they said is, even myself that videoed me, unfortunately, up on one leg, I still am moving a hair. The muscle's holding me. You see what I mean? I haven't been perfectly still. I don't agree with the rule, but I just wanted to let you know what it's going to be. Okay? Question?
Yes. At a tournament I was at, my mark was inside the circle, but you're allowed 11 inches, right?
We're inside the circle. I know what you're saying.
So I couldn't jump, but
Inside the circle.
I have
The
to,
line is the front of the marker, whether it's the disc that you leave on the ground or the mini.
even though I've got 11 inches.
This is your
Okay,
marker.
okay.
Wherever the marker is.
Wherever the mark is the mark.
Wherever the mark
Doesn't matter where you take it from.
But you
Alright.
don't have to mark your disc, right?
Yeah, but that still makes that the mark. If that's inside the circle, you're inside the circle.
Can you walk back a few feet?
Yep. Because your lie is still here. You have your choice to play it anywhere you want. But if your lie, it says if your lie is within 10 meters, you must not jump.
Okay.
Or fall forward is what it says. That's the other thing. It's not a jump putt, it's a putt jump. That's what we're about to get to. But question?
So, I mean, if you were inside the circle but far enough you felt you had to jump, you couldn't just start back here and end up behind
Nope.
your line?
Nope.
You can't do any funny business.
No. Inside the circle, you have to maintain contact with the ground. Next move has to be your other foot touching the ground behind the line. And you can't do the classic, I guess the classic thing is that they see now is this.
Yeah, the tap.
What? You can't do what?
You gotta balance
Well, how did that show me any balance? You just tapped your foot on the way by.
tap.
You still fell. You just tapped your foot on the way by the line. You just went, oh, I'm falling.
Oh, so there's no dragging the toe? There's no dragging the toe? You're in.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's get. No. Well, the walking boat would be good. Okay, why? You know why, right? Because you walk up, maintain contact, let go of it, hold, stop. Oh, I cheated. Did you guys catch it?
Yeah. That was a tap.
No good. Yeah, at the Open, they had someone on every hole, and I had to go.
That gets a little formal.
Doesn't
You
it?
have to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the letter of the rules. We could try to change the rule, but we got to enforce what we have. Imagine I'm outside the circle. I'm way out there, right? I'm 47 feet away, all right? Now, first let's talk about the rules, and I'll show you how to do it. Now, the rule states that it's a putt jump, not a jump putt, okay? That means that after you've let go of the disc completely out of your hand, no part of your hand's touching, not even your fingers or anything, you can then go forward past the line. That's what the rule says. So it's not a game of timing it to see if you can jump and let go at the same time, because that means you're probably illegal most of the time. Okay? And I know that I used to be one of the putters that jumps like this, right? And I saw myself and many others, which I won't point out their names, illegally jump putting in tournaments. I saw pictures of us off the ground. Okay? And most of it was downhill stuff, where you come off the ground a little bit. But either way, we were doing it. And so then I switched to what I looked in the rule book, that you couldn't jump anyway. And it said follow through. So then I came up with this putting style. What about putt, walk through? I never left the ground. That must be good, right? Well, yeah, I developed that. I kind of invented it pretty much like into the top ranks, brought it into the top ranks. I don't know who invented it. Maybe Greg Hosfeld or something, I don't know. But he, now I'm seeing this.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people actually, yeah.
I'm seeing that now. That led to that. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Okay?
Definitely.
and so, what that is again pushing it to the point where, as they're letting go of it, that foot's coming off the ground. Right? You don't want to be like that, because we're gonna crack down on that. We're trying to figure a way to cope with this problem. So you just want to be conscious that your foot stays on the ground. Let go of it, and then walk through. Okay? That's how I'm going to recommend going from outside the circle. Don't ever front foot jump putt. You front foot jump putt, your foot's coming off the ground, and you have a very good chance of playing illegally. Okay? You're not cheating, but you played the shot illegally. Any questions about that before I show you how I do it? Huh?
Is the same problems with straddle jump putting?
Yep. Especially straddles if you're right-handed. If you straddle to the right, you're probably illegally jump putting. I don't even know, high percentage. Because
So straddle to the left?
straddle left's a little better, but see your foot came off the ground.
Yeah, the disc has got to be out of your hand before your foot comes off the ground.
How do you do it? You don't jump putt, you putt jump.
Okay.
There you go, like
With that?
Yeah. And so if you straddle the right and do it, you're around a tree. I've seen myself on video like this. Right foot comes off the ground, it looks good, and right before I let go of it, because I was to the right and my body's used to being off this side, like yours is, this left foot came off the ground. I saw it on a video, and that's what started this whole thing. Okay? Straddle to the right, easier to stay on that right foot and push the left leg forward while you hold. But you are going like this. Left leg, kick the right foot up when you let go. That's why they're looking at you going, hey, it's because your right foot's coming up with your arm. Your left foot needs to come up with your arm. And then your right foot comes up after you let go. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Question.
Now, if you get left hand, what if I have my right foot forward, my left foot, I went like this.
Goofy foot.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Inside the circle?
Yeah, if I keep, but my left foot stays behind.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Fine?
totally fine. As long as that foot stays there, it's fine. It's called goofy foot. Low Shields. You know that guy? Low Shields, put it PJ number 500, but he would have been PJ number 16, but he didn't. It was a whole like political thing, but he invented that. Washington.
That's been it.
Yeah. So here's how I do the jump putt, and then we'll start. All right. So I'm outside the circle here. I have some routines to finding how far I am away. That's important. Yeah, I will. Now, again, we don't want to have bad reputations. We want people to think we're fair people, right? The game's about fun. Trust your friend. Play with your brother. Take your mother. All right, now, so what I found is I put a tape measure on the ground at Ken Climo's house a couple years back. We had Ethan Jenkins, Ken Climo around, everybody. Walk there, whatever they think is the circle. Guess what we found? One person had a legal putt. Ken Climo. He was taller than him. That's all it was. Everybody else is 31 feet, 31 and a half feet, 30 feet. And so, you don't want this stuff. You don't want people like this kid, the one that turned in my town last weekend, he won advance with a jump putt, but they're like, he was inside the circle. That's all the town's talking about is how, yeah, he won, but he took an illegal jump putt. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. You don't want that. You're new, you got your own reputation to build, you want to have fun. You don't want people talking bad about you. So what I recommend is that, I know 11 is what you've been taught, but do 12. Unless you're 6'2" or taller, do 12. Play it safe. Be outside. That's outside the circle is what you're looking for, not on the circle. Looking for outside the circle. So play the game safe. So that's what I do. And you don't got to take gigantic steps that you're taking. 12. Take paces like they say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is outside the circle. Now, I know in most places I go, this is outside the circle. Okay? But this is really outside the circle. Now, somewhere the line's in here. But why do we want to be like that? We want to be outside, right? We're honorable players. So now, we're outside the circle. One thing I recommend, if you're at this distance and you're not sure, what should you do? Anybody? Walk it? That could ruin flow of play. Somebody else.
Ask players.
Ask somebody. If you're not sure, look to the player play with and say, am I outside? And they'll give you yes or no. If they say no and you want it, that's when you walk it. You see? But you want to let play flow. And plus, when you do that, it's a mental thing. You know, you're reading books, all these mental things. I looked at Jim right here, and I'm right here. I go, outside, Jim? And Jim does that right there. That assured me I'm doing something right. My brain goes, yeah, I'm in the right. Let's do this. See what I'm saying? But if you're standing there and you're like, God, I'm not sure, it's over. All right? Now, I line it up the same way. I'm not going to teach you anything but the walkthrough putt, all right? Same way. But here's what we do. We're in this position. We're then going to swing this left leg up to parallel, but slightly behind, so that you'll have a line slightly off center like this. The left leg will be slightly behind. Then, you're going to bring it in a little tighter until you feel comfortable, so you're not so... Always, I'll show you the push. This is spin. This is for really long putts. Or, you know, whatever. So you're here. Now, what you want to do is make sure you're lined up, facing the left side of the target, like I said, because you're going to spin across it. And what I'm going to do is, you're going to lean your way forward, because you're allowed to fall through the shot. You see? You're not going to jump, really. You're going to fall through it. So you're going to lean forward, bend the front knee, just like before. It's all the same. The only difference is, when your right arm goes forward, your left leg's going to go with it. Right? And then you're going to come up to your feet and walk it out. Be proud and go get it. All right? So, come through, and your right arm and your left leg come through together, and you walk it through. Can't do it while I'm talking. Give it back to me. I'll do it again.
Do you want this one?
Sure.
AVR.
Be tougher, but I'll try. Just walk it right in. Nothing to it. Whoa, whoa! Luckily, I hit me in the head. I hit right on the bill. You got that on video? Thank you.
You made it. You made it.
Got you on video.
Yeah.
Bloopers.